but they're actually doing enough where, there's no chance, in my opinion, that this gets tagged with the derivative project. And they're coming out with their one of ones. They keep doing that. They have a locked Discord where it's going to be right on it. I'm still not even in the Discord. No one will invite me. So, what do you think about Balloonsville? And like you said, it's almost exactly a week away from dropping.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I saw it when it had like 1K, and this is one that like you look at it and you're like, this is such an NFT project. Like the art looks good enough for like that kind of area, but it fits that mold. Like Kick said it, if it could fit in a Barnes and Noble kids section, it's a great project. Like it has serious potential. It's got the PFP trigger. Like I'd make this my profile picture if it wasn't for Buddy, who's on everything at this point. Um, but it just looks good. Like this is unique enough, and like this is cool. Like paying homage to the hot air balloons. Like that's so cool.
Right.
Just subtleties, and the art looks good. It really does. Obviously, they're creating the FOMO. It seems like with the Discord and the Twitter and doing all that stuff. So I got into it early, back when they had like I said, 1K followers. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I think this has a lot of room to run. The Discord even said like they're planning staking, which we've seen what that does to projects, especially projects that are going to come out of the gate hot, which I think this does.
Do they have have they already announced a collection size and a min price?
Yeah, I think they announced the full collection size. Let me take a look here. I got it somewhere. I'm not sure what the mint price is just yet, but I believe it's a
Right.
5555 or 4444.
Yeah, it makes sense. It just doesn't say it anywhere, and I don't have obviously access to the
No, they kind of
Discord.
keep that.
Yeah, and then
Let
they
me take a
have, which is so weird, they also have this broken link in their Twitter profile too. Like, at least for me, whenever I click this balloonsville.io, it just brings me to this broken website. So I assume it would be on there, but it won't even let me
So the
go on the
website's
website.
down. They are
Okay.
revamping that to fit the staking that's coming out. It's a
Mhm.
5K supply. They've not said what the total cost is yet, though. So that's something I'm waiting for. It wouldn't shock me if it's like one, even a little over one
One
five,
five.
especially with the
Yeah.
price of Sol.
Do you I mean, it might be not as important. I mean, I think it's really important to NFTs. Do you think is that something that you pay attention to the week before? Um, Anticipating how Sol might move. Does that affect kind of how you look at minting at all?
Not for
And I
me.
guess what do you adjust?
Yeah, for me, not at all. Like a lot of it's really the NFT
Yeah.
indicator. My goal still at the end of the day is
Right.
like just get more Solana. That's the only end goal I have, just to
Right.
build that bag. So that's why you see me like I think I have paper hands. I cut a lot. I go liquid a lot. I'd rather cut out of projects. It's just because like I'm so bullish on Sol, especially at these price ranges. I don't want to miss
Right.
like a big pump up and watch
Mhm.
NFTs crater because of it. So
So what do you think about this? I know a lot of people ask me like, and I'm big on adjusting your strategy based on the current market around you. And one thing that I try to do when markets are like this, when price is so, like you said, is so juicy, I try to do a little bit more minting and flipping than just secondary sales, where it's I get in and out, get my soul back. I'll scalp here and there, but I'm not as active on the secondary unless there's like some more obvious opportunities. Because like yesterday, for example, like I was in and out a ton yesterday because everything was pumping. But I'm just more so, like you said, trying to stack some soul. I guess is that kind of the same way you are, where it's you do more minting and flipping. How does your strategy adjust when soul's at 90 compared to 240?
it's a lot of that too. It's like that's such a good question. It more so comes to the mint. Like if a mint
Yeah,
is 2 or 3 Sol and Sol's trading at 140, I'm less likely to mint it because I think it's going to
yeah,
go under mint cost. When Sol's $90 and we're able to see like 1.5 Sol mints never going under mint, we saw Botborg's trade too, and that's just like absolutely wild where it's trading now. I think there's still a lot of potential on some of that, but I don't really look too heavy into the price of Sol. Just the more I use it to consider like what projects I may trade, that actually tends to actually play a little bit more into like royalties as well. If a project has 10% royalties and Sol's pumping,
right.
it's a little bit harder to get that liquidity.
Let's. Do you think we should talk about best buds right here?
I think so. I mean, it's moving well. I haven't looked at the floor in a second, so I'm kind of hesitant to look.
Yeah.
The liquidity is going to be present on it for a minute.
Let's go to Magic Eden real quick, and we'll just see what's going on. I'm gonna guess it's probably still around that 4-1 range. Best buds right here. Let's see. Best buds. Yeah, it's holding 4-8 pretty well right here, and it's pretty
That's
I
wild.
mean, it's pretty thick at 5, but what's the volume on these
That's
look
wild.
like? What are you doing here? What are these meant for? They just, was it 1.69 or 0.69 or something?
I think it was 1.69. I have to double check. Like I said, I didn't really look too heavy into this. I was actually just gonna completely like pass on it.
Right.
Like I really
um,
had no intention to mint this, which is funny because man, this thing was a home run. Oh, 0.69. So damn, this was an absolute steal. This just
so
absolutely
these
took
minted
off.
out, like I think I saw you tweet that these minted out in pre-sale. They didn't even get to public, right?
Yeah, did not even have a chance to hit public. They called it their green list. It sold out, and to everyone commenting, "Thank you again." 0.69. Damn, this thing was a rip too because it was trading like 5.5, 5.6.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now, and obviously, what's the collection size? 4,200, I assume, something like
Yeah,
that.
4,200.
4,200. We have about five something listed right here. So what do you look at right now? So what would make you think that this is a good entry? Why would you get in, or what are you waiting for? I guess what type of indicators are you looking for?
Yeah, so I had said it on stream with Pio in the Nifty Alpha the other day as well. What I do is I'll actually like actively refresh the tab just to see if listings are going up, is that floor going down, are buyers really stepping in? So I'm like basically continually checking that. And right now we're even seeing a push back to 5.
Yep.
So if that stalls, and even right now, like we're still seeing some undercutters come into play, I look a lot at that listed count too. I've said it a few times. It's that 20% seems to be a short-term top, 10% short-term, or vice versa. Short-term bottom
Right.
at 20%, short-term top at 10. So even right now, we are at like a little over 12%. This could go lower. The way it's trading, sub 4 is probably an absolute beautiful buy on this, especially if volume steps in.
Right. I mean, shout out to Jersey saying that he bought Best Buds for 6. Please help me. So let's try to help. Let's try to help out Jersey. What do we think? Basically, should he average down here? Should he just look to hold? If you were in at 6 right now, what would you be doing?
I would buy another one sub 5 for
Yeah.
sure. Get the cost to like 5.5. I think Jersey bought the top, so that's tough. Um, yeah, that's tough because with that too, it's like let me just adjust this. With that too, it's almost like you got to either find an entry or cut a loss. But do you really want to do that? You know,
Right.
especially for something that's this trading this high because this is tends to be a little bit more liquid. But the liquidity can dry up so fast on a five sol floor at the moment.
Well, that's one thing I was going to ask about too. Like one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if you look at it the same way, is I always like to look at what's coming out the next day or that weekend because people, if it's an average project like this, there's a good chance people pull out of this to have liquidity for a big mint. Is that something where if something big was happening tomorrow, it would be much more likely that you cut losses, and if nothing's happening this weekend, you're more likely to average down?
That's 100% what it is. It's a lot of the times I'll do exactly that, but it's also like if I'm planning for next week, I'll sell into most pumps, even if it's not getting like back to the previous high, just to try to recoup liquidity. I like to go into the week pretty liquid so that I can trade secondaries, see what announcements are hitting. But you brought up a great point. Like this project's prime example of something that could dump because of that liquidity need after. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I want to also like try to figure out how intertwined this like SAC partnership is.
Yep.
Because if there is a real partnership there, these things could move and just fly past 10.
So I guess tell us a little bit about that because I heard the potential. I don't really know what's the rumor on the potential partnership with them. Like, what would that look like with Stone Ape Crew?
See, that's what I don't really know. Like if it's just a cosign, that's one thing. But
Yep.
like if there's some tie where it's like holding an ape and holding a best bud gets you a third thing, then these could really move. I just don't really know what the actual value add though is at the moment. But that's also like I said, I just didn't do enough research. So purely because I haven't done my research on this project, didn't have my eyes on it. I thought it was just going to be. We've seen some duds on Magic Eden Launchpad recently too. So it's like I
It
really had
looks
no
like
idea.
I'm pulling a little bit out a page out of your book here. Just keep refreshing Magic Eden. It looks like there's a pretty thin floor here from Best Buds going. Maybe there's only two listed right now below 5. but there's only 5 listed below that 5.25 range. Where I like to. That's kind of what I look for is, and I think I heard it from you specifically, is a thin floor works both ways, where it's gonna more likely to move in either direction. It can either run away from you quickly or it can go in your favor. First of all, shout out to Jersey, appreciate the donation, thanks, bro. But I guess that's the tough thing, right? You want the variance as a trader, but I guess, is there anything you look at to think right here, if there's only 5, in the way of like a 5-2, 5-3 floor, is that a good sign, or what else do you look for?
Yeah, so it's a good question there. I mean, if we're really looking at listings and that floor is super thin, I'm worried about undercutters. But something like
Yeah.
this that's been trading over 5 previously a few times now, it looks like it's gonna keep going. Like it's already moving now, you know?
Yeah, it's moving
So
right now a lot.
yeah, so it's picking up a ton. So it really shit. If Jersey got that 5-8 entry, he might be saved here, especially because his volume's kind of ripping. But
Is it
watch the
is it
listings here, because sub 400, I'd probably start to scale out. Yeah, and those fives are getting scooped.
Yeah, I was just gonna see. I mean, I'm just gonna see if it lets me buy it, but just because I think that there's opportunity here where it might be. I got it at 5, so if I just got it at 5, right, and we're looking at, how thick this floor is. What's a good number? Is it that 5.8 is kind of what you're looking for? Hopefully it can,
What's the
retest close to
royalty on
6.
these? What's the
I
royalty on
didn't even
these?
check. um, it's a great question. What did I get that at? I got that at it's like 9% total, 9.7 with artist is 7, and then obviously the 2% for
So yeah,
market
even right
maker.
now, you need at least 5.5 to break even.
Yeah.
So like that's a pretty big royalty. That's kind of tough. You know, like I'm looking at that and I'm like, shit, especially buying in high. Now you need at least 6 to make half a soul. That's a tough one because when something's
Right.
that high and the royalty, like if this royalty was 5%, you get that 7. You could make like a point 1, point 2 quickly. So that's tough.
There's only 3 listed below break even right now, which is always good.
And you are seeing some buys step in, so that's
Yeah, I haven't seen too many come in just to step in and undercut the floor yet. I'm sure that's gonna happen. But one thing, like you said, you're looking to make sure that it doesn't get near that 400, 420 range, because normally that
yeah.
few listed, it's different when it's a staking project, obviously, but that few listed is typically considered a local top, where every time, if there's not going to be way less listed, most likely people are going to step in. And normally when people step in, they're not listing way above floor. So I guess, is that something where I got to kind of put into, oh, yeah, floor's dropped. Floor's still holding, actually. But yeah, what do you think? So is it something where you kind of, if you're trading like this, right? And that's one thing I got to, like, I want to make sure that Easy touched on for all you guys is, if you're trading like this, it's not in this type of market with this type of buy, you're not really holding this and going to sleep, right? Like, what are you doing?
No, so I would definitely not swing this personally. Like I'm looking to just scalp trade this, get a quick trade in and out, add a little bit of soul to the bag, and see where it's going.
So I mean, you'd probably list it right away. So could we list it like 579, or should we actually try to make some money here, like that five
That's a tough
nine
part.
five nine
Like you
range?
could honestly, the way it's moving, if the buys keep hitting here, this is probably gonna test 6. That 6 break, this just absolutely moves. So we're already at 5.5 right here, but the wall's probably 30 deep up to 6. 6 even has
Right.
some rares at it. So that's one thing I always look for too. Like where do the rares start getting listed? You got a galaxy background at 6. You got a Rasta hat like beach background at 6. So you could probably undercut that 6 floor on a test of it and pull like a quick point 3, point 4 out of it.
I know
Um,
people hate it, but I'm a big, instead of being at like 5.9, I'm a big like 5.89 person. Is there
yeah,
any
so just that edge.
is there any strategy to like your actual pricing when it comes to secondary?
I end everything in 0.69 or 0.42 in some capacity, like 0.6942, 0.4269, like just the most NFT numbers. I feel like people love those. It's all just
Yeah.
jokes. Like the other day, we're trading pictures on the internet, which is just wild to say. So like you got to have some fun with it. But yeah, you'll actually see a lot of my listings have like a ton of just those characters as the decimal points. So I end up trading around like 4s and 5s a lot of the time when I enter or exit.
Do you okay, so one other thing that I did want to ask about was if you're just, it's a typical Wednesday night, Easy's ready to sit down at his computer, make some money and trade. Are you looking only at stuff that's listing currently? How do you find stuff that's moving that potentially has, opportunities to get in and scalp some trades?
Yeah, so there's a couple different options. Solana Floor Pro, that Shy Guardians project, just
Yep.
did some recent things where they launched some additional analytics, which are pretty good. Then we also have some things where it's like there's a few Discord bots I'm a part of that show volume. So like even right now, Toad Boys is the top trending with 98 buys. I've never even heard of that project. I think it actually minted today. Zenus Monkeys minted today. That's ripping right now up to a 4.7 floor. And then it's got Best Buds as number 3. And this shows like total buys. The Discord's locked, which sucks because like these bots are amazing. But I do know a few other people are trying to work on some volume profile things to show where people are entering because that's the best thing to trade on. We're trading at the end of the day like illiquid JPEGs. You want to trade into volume. So finding projects that have volume and trading off of that is usually where I tend to find myself. I'm actually going to look at these Toad Boys because
I'm pulling them up right now.
0.63.
I'm
Yeah,
pulling
so
them up
these
right
have
now,
a
actually.
ton of volume.
So
0% fees. Wait, what's that say? 0% fees on Soul Art.
on Soul Art Marketplace. Royalty share with DAO, who will decide how these funds are spent. So it says it's a 0.65 floor, but just quickly looking at it, it looks like it's more like 0.7, and 0.7 is pretty thick here. What's the total collection size with 433 listed? Do we know?
I'm trying to find their Twitter right now. Let me find, because this is another project I guess I missed, but this might 3333. This might run.
Wait, hold on. This possibly might be.
Oh
hold on,
man,
let me just.
I'm buying some of these right now.
No, hold on. Let me show you something first. Because when you click into their when I clicked into their Twitter for Magic Eden, this is what you see. This account doesn't exist. So maybe they just listed the wrong one, or maybe they might have just rugged on us
So
as we're watching. I don't know.
just type Toad Boys into that. Because I think they just changed that there. So
okay,
just
cool. So we're
Twitter.
good. Here they are. Here's some Toad Boys.
I just bought one. I'm trying to buy more. I think this 0.7 floor is gonna hold. This looks good to me.
All right, so let me pull them back up on Magic Eden themselves. So we're here, and let me refresh. Like Easy says, just keep refreshing the floor. You can get a better idea of which way they're moving, and it's pretty easy, right? You don't always have to scroll for 5 minutes. It's pretty easy. I normally look at like the top 12, like the first 4 rows, just giving me a pretty good idea quickly.
These are flying, bro.
Look at and one thing Easy means by they're flying. Look, the entire screen that you see right now, all has been traded in the last minute. They all say 1 minute ago. That's how many transactions are happening right this second. And I mean, this one's probably gone. Yep, not listed. Let me try to get one too. Oh, we already looked at that one. But what?
Right, I'm in for
0.75.
I'm in for 3 at the moment. I bought 3. Let's see what the costs are on them. I got 3. One at 0.7. One at.
I'm in for 1.
Let's go.
But these
are
a
moving. Galaxy
moving.
Skin one. Yeah, these are flying. I got a Galaxy Skin one at 0.69. What else I get here? And then a Rainbow Skin. I think I actually got like 3 rares. I'm pretty excited about these.
So one thing I do is and I know that this is probably bad because it's a little bit too big of a gap. I don't like seeing it this much. Is when things are moving like this, I'm not gonna click on the top one because it's gonna be gone. I'm gonna click like 4 or 5 deep, and the one I just tried to click on, that you guys saw, was at like 0.88. That one got scooped because it was in a suit. I thought that suit might have been rare.
These things are already at 0.9.
I'm trying to buy one for 0.9 right now.
I'm trying to find this marketplace that has them for 0 fees.
A Soul Art Marketplace. I could pull it up. Let me see what that is.
I found it.
Soul
Art Market, but soulart.io, but it's spelled SOUL. The thing that's interesting about these is I guess you get a token for this marketplace. 0% fees on market. 1 Genesis token equals 0 fees. And then you get SR, earn SR. So I'm curious how this actually does. This could be a sleeper play. Seems to, yeah, these are mooning.
I can't even like X out of this.
Oh man.
But yeah, so What are they at right now? Are they holding that 0.9? Or are they
They're
still
at
moving?
one. They're at one.
Okay, I'm in for 0.75 and 0.9. I have two of them. What did you get? Three?
Yeah, three at like 0.7 average right now.
So in for point
Just a
three,
quick
and
quick
quickly,
trade.
quickly, what do people look at to understand if it's a rare or not? Because you said like, is it just by looking at you like
I'm a big
assuming
like it
that the
just looks
galaxy's
rare.
rare? Right, right,
Yeah, like I just look around near the floor, like what's there, and if something stands out, like a random background or one skin for like 20, I'm like, okay, this has got to be rarer than the rest. So this is the one I'm gonna
right.
go for.
I mean, oh, this is not a list. I was gonna buy this one that kind of looks like Bulbasaur with like the tiger skin too, but that one just got scooped. We got a robot on the floor right now at 0.94. Yeah, so it looks like they're all sitting at 0.99. And I guess
One
when
is
when
thick.
volumes like this and buyers are stepping in at this rate, obviously assume something under one that we're buying, we're kind of artificially having some more buyers step in than normal. But how would people normally think, hey, this was already a good buy, but more so than just a buy? When do I sell? Like a lot of people go,
That's the
hey, this
thing.
is going up. I can get it at three sold, but that's probably not the case. So what should they be thinking about for a list price?
So even look here, like the listings are starting to slow down at this one, and I'm such a big
Yep.
like mental number trader, like ones, zeros, fives. Those are all huge things I try to like think of. So one is like probably the biggest for sure.
Yep.
Like a one sold floor, that's huge for some people. And even then, like you take 7% cut, you're getting 0.93 back. On those three, we could already make back like 0.69 sold already.
Right.
And that's in 5 minutes. So if I wanted to right now, I could list these for like 0.98. But honestly, with a marketplace that seems to be launching and a token on these, I may just hold them.
Some of
And
these
whatever
look
that ends up
cool
being.
too. Honestly, I kind of like the art on some of these.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm tempted to just add a few more, and I'm probably going to here. Even at
so
one,
so
like
so guys, this is one of those things where there's a couple things that technically Easy saw, which made this a good buy. Volume was coming in, and then there's a point where Degen takes over a little bit, right? Where so we see things moving, and you want to add to your position, keep adding. You want to get the better price. You think because the thing is, right? Easy, correct me if I'm wrong, but if these push through that one soul floor, there's like real upside there, right?
yeah, that's probably the thickest part here in the thickest floor. We're gonna test lower again. I think we could
Right.
even get back under point 0.9. So like adding here is probably not the best move. What the hell did I buy this one? What did I buy this one for? Oh, I guess I
Yeah,
actually got
I'm
four at
quickly
point 0.7.
scrolling through just to see what they all look like, so I have an idea of what might be rare when they test a little bit lower here.
100%. And I mean, to be honest with you, I did this yesterday too with that Project Frogos. Like
Yep.
I have like 15 of those right now just because I saw a few like big names buying into them. And it did a similar move, like pumped to 1.5, pulled back under one, trading under one right now. Rumors that they're going to have staking. And right now it's like the staking meta is the big thing, you know? So
Yep.
like if somebody can get staking in and implement it, it seems like that's an automatic push, even if there's no liquidity in the token itself.
I'm so it looks like they, like you said, they are kind of testing a little bit lower. We're adding a couple more. When I looked last time, when I just keep refreshing, there was a ton just at that 0.99. It seems like just quickly you can quickly glance and see that now there's like 7, 8, maybe even 9 under that 0.99. When people think, one thing that happens to me when I'm not seeing the market well and I feel like I'm in a losing day, as soon as a trade starts to go against me like this, it's like, okay, everything I hit is losing today. It's what happened on Secret Sphinx Society. I was winning on it all day, and then I ended up after that announcement. I remember I was watching you tweet about it at like 11 p.m. The devs mentioned something and it died. And with the profits of that, I bought into 888 Anon Club, which went from 5.9 to 4.9. And I was like, I don't want to hold anything overnight. I
Don't
want to go
tell
to
me you
sleep.
cut that.
I cut that at 4.9. I lost one soul on the trade. The next day they're at like 28. And I even tweeted about it. I said, I don't know what these 888 Anon Club are, but I like the chart right now. And like people liked that tweet. And I was like, okay, so I'll buy in. I didn't know what they were. I just saw it I was on my
Dude,
watch
that
list.
dev is
I like the
so
action.
cracked. The dev is so cracked on 888. He just seems like he knows what he's doing. It's the same thing with Sphinx though, but the 888 dev has made it like very clear. Like I'm hooking up the holders. If you're holding this, you'll be happy. And he's been delivering. He literally tweets what he's working on every single day. They're trading at 19 right now. I have three that I got at 6.2 each, and I've just
Yep.
been sitting on them. Like,
Well,
I don't know if
well,
I'll
what I
ever sell
was
those.
what I was gonna say is sometimes like you see a trade going against you, and people, it's common to get emotional and either try to exit a trade or you know just not see it all the way through. I guess say somebody just bought with us, they were watching us on stream, they bought it at 0.99, and now they see, for example, the floor is at 0.89. You know, do they want to panic sell? What should they look at before they decide on anything? What numbers to look at? What charts? Like what should they double check before making a decision?
If I'm like debating panic selling, I'm looking at that total listed count. If that listed count is near like 40, 50% of supply, then I might floor it there if the floor is not, if it's not going to be like a brutal sell. That works both ways though. Like if it's a half a soul loss in total on the position, I'll probably cut it there because it's going to be tough to break that. If it's anything bigger than that though, especially if it was a low cost entry, I'll actually kind of just bag hold it in hopes that something comes out of it because that's such a big wall. But if that does get delistings or people start buying, it flies. So you grabbing a catch king here? I like the
Yeah,
trade.
so I
I
was
like the trade.
I see in the chat a lot of people saying that Catch King floor is pretty thin, and as I put them into my watch list on Soul Sniper, I just quickly glanced, and this is live. You guys are seeing what we're doing in real time. We looked like, okay, we're already at 3-4 with like barely any scrolls. 3-5. I like the listing count at 932. You know, it's right around that. I'm pretty sure this is a 5K collection, so it's about that 20%. So those are the only two things I looked at. I did no other research. I've been in and out of these a couple times, but I saw around 20%. I saw a thin floor, and I got in.
Yeah, so I like that type of trade. Like that's good volume. This is good movement. This is at volume all day. We saw its
Yep.
high of what was it, like 4.8? Tested 5
Yep.
once. Like this project looks great. Working game today. I'm so bullish on games that are actually like live before mint. Like that's Chain Myth taught me anything. It's that. Like I need to see the
Right.
game before I buy in. Like at least Bobo's, I feel confidence in because I've seen some game footage. So stuff like that. You had to play the game to get whitelist for this. Like that's beautiful to me. They did
Yep.
it with World Wide Webland on ETH. So it's like those subtle things are like kind of unique to projects. Like that's dope. And if they keep delivering on that, three's gonna look like a steal.
Yep. And they're sitting. You know, there's one listed below that 3-2 mark, but you know, Catch King's one of those. And just so you guys see that I'm personally a little bit different where Easy is so sharp on these trades where he can kind of trade any random project. I like projects where just in case I'm only trading ones I actually like. So even if there's a huge pullback, at least I like Catch King, so I don't mind holding the bag for a second. That's just kind of the way I'm building my portfolio right now. So it's one of those things where make sure you fit your style. Where it's like if a trade goes against you, don't just dump 0.5 to 0.8 soul just because you want to get in and out. Make sure if you can handle it, do that. That's fine. But if you want to make sure you're holding something well, that's what I do. I just only make sure I trade on projects, except for Toad Boys. You know, there's times like this where
But
you
think
just do
about Toad
whatever.
Boys too, what we just said. It's got three of like these great things to it. So far they got a VR version of it, royalty share with the DAO, and staking for a token on a marketplace. So you're actually getting a
Right.
residual kickback off of a market, not off of just staking for an LP pool. You're getting it based on fees on a marketplace. So when I saw those three things, I was like, oh shit, this is a perfect project that could run. I was content even buying on the way up because to
Right.
me, as soon as they drop that, you get a token yield. This could pump through, especially at a 3.333. Like that's a good supply for a pump.
So tell the people, what did you do? Have you listed any of these yet? Or are you still holding your
No,
three that you
I'm
got at
holding. I'm
0.7?
up to 5. So I
What
didn't
were your
stop
last two
buying. I
entries?
was one was at 1 because it was a rare.
Yeah.
I did check that. That one was rare, so I was happy about that. And then I bought one at 0.8 because it had a Kobe jersey. So I was like,
Yeah.
I just shout out the
Nice.
boy. So for me, I'm just like, I think these are gonna break 1. Like they're already testing 1 again. It's just that one wall is really thick. So for me, it's going to be interesting to see how this trades for a little bit longer. It did mint
Cool.
today, did sell out quickly. Yeah, that one's dope. There's a Bulbasaur one you wanted.
Yep, that's
Um,
what I've been looking for. So yeah, it's
yeah,
not gonna get
exactly.
to
Oh,
it.
but this
But
project
I
too,
did
it's
want to
like
check
it's got the signs.
one thing that where'd it go? Oh, so I did get a second one, or did I
Oh,
already? I
let's
might have already
go.
had a second one. So I wanted to check quickly what the royalty. Yeah, so it's only 5% royalties and 2% transaction fee, which is especially important on these like kind of lower priced projects because if it's like a 10 soul floor, there's a lot more range that they can move, and that percentage might be a little bit different. But that total of like 7% that you're going to pay here could make all the difference in a profit and loss trade. So you really want to check that on projects like this before you decide what you're going to list at, what's a good entry for you, everything like that.
So you're saying for like a good entry here?
I was saying
Sorry,
just
am I
like
missing
make sure you
that?
know if you're going to enter the
Oh
trade,
yeah.
make sure you know what the royalties are going to be so that I like to enter trades knowing what the break even is. No matter, like I like to
I
know
clicked
that,
one
even
first
though
too. It's nothing worse than getting that 15% royalty and you're sitting on 3 and you're like, oh dude, I screwed up. Like he's got a 2x for me to break even.
Did either of us buy
They're
best
holding
buds here or
5.
no? Did
I
either of
didn't.
us buy
No, I
this?
didn't buy
No.
one. No, I'm like hesitant on a 5 cost, especially for
Yeah.
something that was 0.69. Like
Let
liquidity
me
could
make sure.
literally just be tailing the whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't get any either. And let's see if the activity. I mean, it's still pretty active. And
It's
another thing to
constant.
look at is I don't really know what like the difference in rarity on these are, but you can see sales at 5.4, 5.8, 5.9, 6.56 all in the last minute. So that's one thing to look at. And this is like Easy said, it's a good one to continuously refresh because is that moving? It's still not like there's undercutters still coming in. So it's
And
something
that's
to look
that's where
out
that
for.
refresh comes into play. Just like see how the activity is. Is that floor actually getting swept and new listings are replacing them, or are people just adding to those listings?
Right. That's go back to what we said earlier, where a thin floor is a double-edged sword, right? It can either mean that a bunch of people see that and undercut it, or it means it can rip all the way through on the other side. So pay attention. You guys hear me a lot say I like thin floors, but it's because variance is kind of your friend in trading. Obviously, when it goes against you, it's bad, but you need volume, you need variance, or else you don't want to look for something that's stagnant, that's not going to move. That's not the goal of
You'll get
trading.
stuck. You'll
Right.
get stuck.
But is there any other trades we can make here? Anything you're looking at? Anything else you're seeing?
We're getting blown up in the chat about these ethical dragons or
Ethical?
whatever the heck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm seeing
All
so
right,
many misspellings. I'm
let's
like,
look at you
what the hell
guys'
are these? We got
dragons.
to give them a look. I have no idea what these are.
They're sitting
I
at
saw
30.
these on Jersey's stream. I saw these on Jersey's stream yesterday. They got up to 5. He had
I
balling at
mean,
like 3 and
some of these are
uh
kind of sick, actually. I don't know. Wait, look how thin the. Oh no, I don't. I hate when. Why is this not listed properly? Be in order
you,
of price.
you got to look too. There's only 22 listed, so that alone makes it a thin floor. Like
Right.
this is a fear on the other side for me. It's a
Yep. Too
1K
too
project
few
with
listed.
23. Yeah, so are we sure this isn't a top? Like people are
Yeah.
hyped. Everything I'm seeing in the chats, like breeding coming soon, staking. I don't know about it right now. Like this is a little too thin. If this was closer to like 70, 80 listed, I'd probably take a deeper look. But 23 is so prime to get like 50 to 60 to list. I know I haven't looked at the roadmap, so I don't know longer term. Haven't spoke to the devs, so I don't know level of
Right.
development, all that fun stuff. What's the royalty on these?
What I'm about to dive into that, but real quick, while I have this page open, what do you
Yeah.
think about the fact that only one is sold in the last hour?
That's very illiquid. Like that's tough.
And it's
Like
12%.
if
It's
you
10% artist, and then the 2%.
Oh, so even at
Right.
here, you need at least a 3.5 floor. This one's a
Yep.
little bit tough for me. Like I'd probably stay away. Too thin. One sale, so liquidity is not really there. If you needed to get liquid, you'd have to like absolutely floor this to catch a buyer.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. I think it's weird because I think people think when you trade, you need to be buying stuff for 1 SOL and selling it for 10 SOL. My best trade this week is I kept buying and selling these things called art monkeys that I see them in the trade and maybe remind me of them. I was buying them at 0.77 and selling them at 0.99, but I did that so many times that like 0.2, it was like 0.17 after fees that I kept making. But I made that probably 14 out of 15 times when I did it. It was a profitable trade. I guess like looking back at something that you hit a home run on this week, for example, what was a big trade that you made and what made it so good?
Let me see this week. I mean, I like to circle back to like the 5 soul challenge to see kind of what I was
Yeah.
doing. I hit shanties last week. That was a nice trade from 6 to 12. I was very happy about that. Did some good volume on that. Staking wise, that's a great play. We saw it trade as high as 17, pulling back here. I
Yeah,
said in another Discord,
I
like
like the sell at 12 too. I probably would have just looking at it, I think 12 was a good exit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think this could get back under 10. A lot of people were playing like the announcements on it. So like for me, oh, I hit Ubik, UBIK,
Oh
the
yeah,
cheap one.
are they like
That
50
was a
now? I
banger.
saw.
That
Oh,
was a
I
high,
thought earlier they
28.
were crazy.
So it was another supply squeeze though. They got down to like 16 listed. So that one for
Yeah,
me was huge. I got in. I minted one because I hit a raffle for. I entered two wallets. I was gassed about that. Sold that for like 13. Bought back in for three at 6 and sold three at 25 each. So that was a
yeah,
nice trade.
that's.
Like that was a come up.
So, so was it just looking at the fact that you thought it was going to be a supply squeeze like that? What made you get in at that high price?
I went into their Discord and was taking a look at like the announcements, and it seemed like rarity and staking was a huge thing. So the more rares were getting picked up over ask,
Yeah,
which forces the floor up anyway, and then people hold the rares anyway. So like I was buying floors just because liquidity was picking up, and then they had like a hidden attribute for unhealthies, which is like a 50 floor right now. I didn't even realize I was there till after the fact. I wish I did because I would have gone for those. But for me, it was like low supply, so it's like I think only a little over 1,000. I think I want to say something like that, maybe 1,600. So it's a low supply, low mint cost at one sol, pumped, traded in a range over 5. All those signs look good, and then it was staking, and they had incentives to leave it stake for 96 hours. So that
oh
causes that
yeah.
inherent
So
supply
that's
squeeze.
the yeah. And the
So as
thing
soon as
is,
that lifts, you're screwed.
these minted this week and have 15,000 volume, right? That was like a couple days ago, maybe.
Yes, 3 days ago, tops. I think even that, like Monday
Yeah,
or Tuesday, they minted. So this is crazy, insane volume, good devs, and they had an incentive to basically not list. So I knew we were going to see like a 20, 30 total listed type of trade, where these were going to be way too high, and I sold into that, which I was happy about. They did pump to
nice.
50, so is what it is.
All right, so there's another project I want to dive into, but first, guys, I just saw there was almost 400 of you guys watching right now. Do me a favor, do two things: like the video if you haven't already, but go ahead and follow Easyeatsbodega on Twitter for showing up, giving us some love, giving us some insights, some knowledge bombs, and shout out to the Nifty Alpha. You want to talk about Solana? He does the same thing, goes live with his co-host Pio. They do Solana trades. What, twice, 2 times a week, probably.
It's like it's getting up there to like 3 or 4. We'll actually be live tomorrow. So sometime tomorrow we'll be live as well. Shout out Pio, shout out the Nifty, shout out Nick. But yeah, we do a Solana special over there. They do ETH videos as well. Shout out Cody for having me on. I appreciate the hell out of it. But yeah, no, it's dope.
Yeah, so make sure that was actually one of the first things that I watched getting into NFTs myself was the Nifty Alpha. That's the reason I switched from ETH to Solana, watching just some random Saturday in November with PO and Easy Eats. But yeah, just make sure you drop him a tweet, follow him on Twitter, follow the Nifty Alpha. But I want to talk about bot borgs because I did end up trading out of this project. I'm a huge fan long term, but I think, like you said, we might have one of your tweets today also made me be like, okay, I definitely want to try to get some more liquidity. And it might not be fact. You said we might be in a blow off top yesterday. I thought anything over 6 was a good time to get out of botborgs. What are you looking at here? We had some crazy announcements, some potential rumors with, Gary V's gaming company. This is a project where I was super bullish on. Everybody knows that in my community that I thought long term this was crazy. There was a little bit of FUD around it, but this floor is pretty thin here, up to 7 pretty fast. What are we looking at with Bob Borgs? Is this a play again soon, or is this something where it's a 10K supply and there's only 889 listed? So it's like 8.5% are listed. Talk about, the project it's number specifically.
Yeah, I would have sold that 6 range too, 100%. I would have been out. 8% listed is crazy for me because a 10K has so much supply that could dump on this
Yeah.
that, like, for me, I'm very hesitant to buy in here. I mean, what was the low on this? Like 2.3, 2.4 we saw it get down to? Did it even get that
The
low? It,
cheapest,
it traded
I
really
bought
low.
one for 2.9, but it might have got a lot lower than that. I
But
kind of got
2.9 is a
scared at
great
that
buy on
point.
this
I
too.
was like, hey, I'm probably going to stop buying these.
No, but
But
see, and that ended up working out too, because that Vayner gaming rumor caused these to just absolutely rip. We saw a high of 8, but like no one ever sells the top every time. So getting out at 6 from 2.9 is such a good trade. Like 2x on secondary that's top tier. Like that's the type of trade you want. Um, yeah, I mean it's still really low though for a 10K. Like I would stay away as a buyer here. I
Yeah.
think long term it looks great. If the game works out, metaverse works out. If they can put it, they've teased like casinos are hitting us up for metaverse land. If that actually happens, whatever metaverse has those in it is going to just boom, because we've seen the gambling meta. We know that's like probably one
Yeah.
of the most traded things on Sol right now is gambling plays.
One thing that I put in my Discord, which just so you guys can get an insight into how we think about things or how I think about things, is I thought so. I sold 3 of them today. 2 at 6.2, 1 at 6.9. I just wanted to hold one long term, so I listed at 6.9. Just I assumed it wasn't going to sell, but it ended up selling when I went back to check anyway. But I put in my Discord. I said, hey, I'm fine selling these at that 6.2 mark, even though I'm a believer in the project long term, because I think there's a chance to get in back at this exact same price or cheaper, right before actual news happens, right? So why would I want to have this locked up for a month or two where I don't think I'd rather have that money, that liquid, to be making plays in the meantime, as opposed to hoping. I would honestly want to see this at 10 or 12 for me to make sense of it, to hold into it for a full month, right? And I assume Easy, you're the same way, where it's like, if something's not at least a 2x, why hold something for 2 months when the market's as
Yeah, like
crazy
I
as it
think I
is?
can make more trading, especially in a hot market.
Yeah.
The only other project I've really seen that's gone like parabolic with the 10K is Days Ducks. I
Yep.
just checked 16 floor, going bananas, like wild. They got great volume too, but they've also got like staking and a dashboard and some other pieces. So I think botboard will get here 100%. It's just a matter of them delivering on the stuff that's in the roadmap. Like right now, we're just trading ideas. Once you start
Right.
delivering, you start trading return. So like that's the interesting thing. Days Ducks hit a few deliveries, token coming out, staking going live. They're pumping. 16 floor. There's whales that have 50 of these things that they got for like sub 1. So it's good volume in my opinion.
I talked to the artist actually behind Days Ducks, and it seems like it's a team that is going to be along for the long haul, and that's kind of what you look for. Obviously, it's tough at a 10K, where at first when I was looking at them, I didn't even know about the staking, or maybe they hadn't announced it yet, and they were still sitting at like 8 or 9. I was like, I'm surprised, but then everywhere on my Twitter, I would see people from their community I think there's still something to the fact that a PFP holds weight. And if that many people are PFPing a project, that's already a good sign. And then they're super outspoken about being a holder of that project.
Yeah, exactly. So like when you have a lot of conviction in that, you get a lot of big names kind of responding and pushing a project. Um, yeah, that's kind of the big thing for sure. And right now we're getting rated by Cybercats, so we may have to pull those
All right, we'll
up.
check out Cybercats, but before we do, any fear right now that these are continuously retesting that 0.9 mark, the Toad Boys, or is it a place where you're not really adding to the position and you're okay with holding, or are you adding here?
I just bought another one at 1 that had a king crown. So I'm like, I just think the marketplace, once people realize that there's a potential to stake these for a marketplace token, they are going to trade over 1. Like I'm looking here to a 333 supply. We're at 425 listed. That could go higher, but we're starting to hit that
Right.
like 15-20% mark. So for me, I'm still bullish on them. If they trade back to that 0.8 range, I'm going to add more to it. This is a trade that I actually like after quickly just glancing over that. And I mean, the sellout today, and with 2 other bigger projects trading at the same time in the buds and those monkeys, the Xianu monkeys, or I can't remember the full name. Those both went live and are trading pretty damn good and pretty high at the moment. Yeah, Xianus monkeys are trading at a 3 floor. Best Bud's still holding that 5 floor, and these are getting a ton of volume at sub 1. I think this is just a better buyer spot in my opinion.
I'm just going
So
straight through and buying everyone that goes through right now at 0.9.
I
I just
have
got
I
I
have
just got
8
three
right
more.
now. I'm sitting on 8. I have a couple I bought at 1. Yeah, I mean, I like the trade. I'm gonna honestly probably hold these a little bit longer
I have
because if they come
6.
out with a staking platform, let's go. I love it because man, these get up to like 1.2, 1.3. You're gonna net a quick like 2, 2.5. A couple of their attributes I'm looking at too, like they have the pawn shop nomies on one of their
Right.
shirts. They have the friendly frogs on a hat. Like there's just some subtleties into it where you can tell they're also paying like homage to other projects. So there's gonna probably be some hopeful collaboration. I'm getting kind of optimistic here, having some hopium come out, but I'm excited for it.
I mean, you said you had 8 of them, so I just went from 2 to 8 in the span of the last 30 seconds. So, so we're good. I just
I
grabbed them
like the
all
trade.
from. Jersey's dumping on us too. He says he got 5 for 0.6 to 0.7, sold all of them for 1 soul. So hey, as long as you guys are making some money, that's fine. We can just show you what we do, and hopefully you guys make some money at least.
Of course, Jersey dumps on us. Let's pull back up them Cybercats because I want to see what
Yeah,
their
that's what
auction's
I was
doing
adding right now.
too.
So Cybercats, I hold one of these. I guess give us the backstory on Cybercats because that's what they want to hear. You know, is this a staking play? How are people making money? Why is their community so excited about this project?
Yeah, so this project out of the gates, there was some hesitation, I guess. It traded under mint. That was kind of wild to me because staking plays were still hot, still are hot. They got staking live in under a day with Sign Network. Their human token is now trading at 0.007, which is a 3x from it going live, dumping 50% of their auctions into the LP of that token, which is great, especially when the last one just went for 22 Sol. This one's sitting at a 6 Sol bid right now on the K869. It's crazy because the community is probably the biggest factor here. Like, this community is going crazy. They're spamming us. They're constantly on my tweets asking what my thoughts are. I did sell 2 of these at like 1.5 that I minted.
Yep.
I'm looking back on it, kicking myself because these things tested 3, but I just didn't really know longer term. I mean, they got spaceships coming out where you can burn human for, so it seems like it's fitting that pixel art staking mold. Could go much higher, especially if bigger names keep picking these up. I know I saw a bunch of screenshots of alpha alerts from a
Yep.
ton of like what people call whale wallets scooping these. So let's see where it goes. I don't even know if these legendaries keep picking up bids. This thing's gonna break 3 easy.
Are you so? I guess in terms of projects that have staking, obviously there's going to be a big difference in terms of the volume that are being traded, listed, all that type of stuff. Can you talk a little bit about how you look at projects that have staking when it comes to, is it still that 20%, 10%? Is it still, relative? Because
Staking's
all of it's
tough.
relative, right?
Yeah, it's so relative because like if one bad announcement could have everybody unstake and dump, and then the floor literally craters so
Yeah.
fast. So like that's the tough part. Something like this though, it seems pretty good. The community is the biggest thing with staking. Like you have a bunch of people telling people to stake and buy and delist and basically incentivize getting off the market. The floor is thin, so it's like right up to 3.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably 12 deep. It looks good, especially for a half soul move. What's the fee on these?
Let's check them.
Because that's going to be the
So
interesting part with it too. 5.
not
Yeah, I
bad,
like
not
that.
bad. We'll,
That's
ta-
good.
we'll always take that. Obviously, I feel like in Solana they're on average a little bit higher than some other marketplaces. Like my background was in Ethereum, and you like to see that 2.5%, but 5% is pretty much the equivalent when it comes to Solana projects, I'd say.
That's definitely the average. Like that's like if it's above
Mm-hmm.
that, I'm trying to figure out why. If it's below that, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
this is amazing. So
yeah. I mean, the only thing for some reason, the only thing I care about right now are these Toad Boys.
dude, the liquidity is crazy on them. Like and these
These
cheaper
are
plays,
moving. Like, look, the entire
yeah.
first page is 1 minute ago.
And
And
these have been trading just as long as the Xianu monkeys and the best buds, and they're still getting volume. I mean, the one floor is just thick, but over that,
yeah,
it's paper thin. But honestly, what do we got here? 6, 12, 18, about 20, 30 total before you break 1. So that's tough. I think we're going to see a ping pong between zero point 0.9 and 1. Um, yeah, people are chipping, but it's got to get into that 1 consistently.
yeah. I was trying to see if there was any like trace that looked rare real quick to snipe, even if I was at that 105 mark. But normally, I'm the same way where I think you're right, where it's such a thick floor right there. Normally it tests it, right? And when people say it tests a certain number, we're going to call it 1. That means if it's either going to do one or two things. It's testing, can it break through? If it breaks through, there's a good chance it breaks hard. And if it tested and it doesn't go through it, it normally goes back. It doesn't just rub up against, 0.99. It normally tests, fails to break through, and dumps back to whatever it's been showing.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I'm gonna probably be watching this for a while tonight for sure. I'm excited to see how the Toad Boys trade. Good
Yeah.
volume on them for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy we grabbed a few live here.
We have so I just need to check my wallet to see what we have left because I want to make at least one more trade on this video. I have it looks like 15 Soul Liquid in this wallet. I don't care how much I deploy that. We gotta look for something else. It could be a bunch of something. Let's check out Best Buds first to make sure there's not. Oh, these pushed back to 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. They've been holding 5.5. So that's the interesting thing.
Oh,
They got a
okay.
nice kick up. These are probably going to test 6, like we were kind of talking about earlier. I'm interested to see where it moves.
Right.
I'm looking at my 5 Sol wallet right here. I got way too many angry keys at the moment. They had their snapshot today. Ended up bag holding a few of those. I've got an army of Bobos. I'm still excited for that.
Yeah.
Those have been holding 2.5, testing back under now. Um, yeah, man, there's just a lot of moves right now. The market's still hot, but like I said, I'm worried about a blow off top. So you said you got
Right.
15.
Yep, we got 15.5, it looks like, in this wallet. So you
Man,
can do a lot
another
of
catch
stuff
king
here.
looks good. Another catch
Yep.
king looks real good.
Did it
That's
go
one I'm
back down to
eyeing.
3?
3.3. It's
Oh,
still that's the
three
thing.
three.
It's trading well. Let's take a look here real quick. We
This
got a
goldenrod at
few
337, I
things.
don't mind.
No, the goldenrod is nice too. My issue is like I like trading floor just because you know it's
Yep,
liquid.
me too.
And rares are just tough. Like you could get that one looks good. That 3.3 with the hat. Oh yeah, I was gonna
No.
say the TV head is rare. Like that was
I saw the same
like
thing.
oh
I
hold
was like, okay, this is.
up, hold up. That might be a buy right now. Let's actually see what's getting some
uh,
volume here real quick.
did you end up holding your rare? I know you pulled a rare as well.
Yeah, so I'm holding the pumpkin head still. I cut the others at 3.8. So last night I was kind of kicking myself when it got up to 4.8. Can't be mad taking profit. That did end up going back down to 3. So like I was pretty happy about it. I have my rare listed at 9. The floor on that was 4. Those got swept. Then it pumped to 10. And mine's now at like 9. I think I'm like 2 or 3 over the current floor. But these Xenus monkeys, did you see these at all? X E
No.
A
How do you
N
even
U
spell it?
S.
Xenu like this?
Yeah. XEA.
Zenith
Yeah, those.
monkeys. Three
I got no
four,
idea what
huh?
these are. Wild. Whitelist only mint, I'm pretty sure. A
Oh,
few people
okay.
asked me about these too, linked me these. I got no idea what's going on with them. Have you seen anything?
26% listed, it looks like.
I got a buy for you right now. I'm actually going to
Let's
grab
do
some
it.
first. Solderland Bunnies is a play that I'm actually a little bit more
People are
interested
gonna
in.
love you. Do you know how many messages I get about missing this call? Because I was like, these look okay at mint. I wouldn't mint them.
But it's not the art. So this is like a similar like idle to earn, stake to earn kind of play, like Remnants. It gives me the Remnants idea because they have a map that you send your bunny on quest to, and it returns with stuff. Who knows what that
Right.
stuff is, but it comes back with stuff. So that's kind of yeah. So I just did the same thing. I just picked up 2 of these. I'm probably gonna end up buying a few more. It got up to 2.8 earlier, so this pullback is actually kind of where I like to buy. We're at 746 listed, decent numbers on it. I want to see the exact quantity on them, but
Yeah,
what's Remnant sitting at?
and while you do that, I'm gonna check the fee. It's only 5% for the fee, which is good. Like we said, that's what we want to look for. I just picked up 3 of these, I think. And when you ask me why I picked these up, it's not because I did the research, because Easy told me to pick them up, so I did. But he said that they tested. What did you say? They were testing 2.6 earlier.
Yeah, today. So like this is a good sell in my opinion. That's pulling back.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen these games just go crazy. Like look at Remnants. Like that's the perfect example. A lot of people didn't like what they call like the lazy staking because you're not actually
Yep.
staking the contract. You're basically just sending them out and you can still sell. But the buyer then gets that reward that they're out on a mission for. So like there's not even a bad play there. They're now at an 8 floor. I talked about these at 2 and it drives me crazy because I bought none of them. And I scalped these wildly. But if Solderland Bunnies have even like a close game to it. I can't tell what the quantity is on them. Does anybody in the audience here, watchers, viewers, know what the
Yeah.
quantity is
Somebody
on
tell us
Solderland?
about Solderland Buddies. What was the original? Like, what's the total collection size here?
Yeah, that's my big question here. Um, if we can figure out what that is, this is going to be interesting because their game is live right now.
It looks
So
like
that's the tough thing.
3,000 Solderland demo miners. I don't know if that's the.
Ooh, if it's a 3K, this has some serious upside in my opinion. And
I
if you watch
think
the
it is.
game too,
Anybody?
it's like
A lot of people are saying 6,000 though. So maybe they have 2 roles,
seven,
like a
seven,
miner and
seven,
another
seven.
role.
Okay, so seeing a few sevens, 6, 6, 6, 6, or 7. So it's a little bit higher than Remnants at 4K. But even
Mm-hmm.
look at that. Like that's the interesting thing here. I think these are gonna move. Like they have good upside if the game works out well. A 3-4 floor, half of Remnants at 2x supply looks really good on these.
Right. So basically, I'm gonna recap for everybody real quick. I'm gonna recap what we did today. Basically, what happened was we bought like 8, I think, a piece of the Toad Boys, and you know, Easy might be up to like 15 at this point. Who knows? We both bought at least 2 Soul to Land buddies, and you know, it's one of those things that neither of us are going to bed soon. We're going to be watching these, but I think that what he's saying is these might be potential swing trades, not just you know the typical in and out scalps.
That's
And
exactly
I
what I'm
think,
thinking here too.
and guys, I want to, you know, we got to respect Easy Eats time, so we're about to start wrapping up. But like I said, I appreciate you, Easy, for coming on. Like I said, please do me a favor and follow him on Twitter at Easyeatsbodega. If you want to check out the Nifty Alpha YouTube show, it's in my description of this video. It's like the second link. It just says, you know, Nifty Alpha. He goes on there 3 or 4 times a week now to talk about Solana. So, you know, pick his brain. Go show up to his live streams. They check the chat. Easy, it was a pleasure, man. I love having you.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Happy to be here. Glad we got to degen a little bit and throw some money around. Yeah, I think we're swing trading these and letting it see what happens.
Yeah. Hey, people are saying Easy start a YouTube, but so do with that what you will. But I'd love to have you back.
Find me on the Nifty.
I'll
I'll be on the Nifty. See me there 3-4 times a week. We're going nowhere. Appreciate you always.
All right, appreciate you, Easy. All right, thanks guys for watching. We're gonna be out. See you later, guys.